Okay, we do mean serious business today. Happy Thursday, yes. Order in the court, order in the court. We do not have a quorum, but that's okay. We will just move on. First off, welcome to the best committee that we have to offer and the most fun. We are going to hear straight up right now from Chair McDonald to present on his project because he is on a time crunch.
Sorry, Natalie. Okay.
That is why we listen to the chair.
That's right.
Okay. All right. So Rockford to you, Chair McDonald. If
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Like to present your bill as your testifiers here.
Rockford, are you here? Mayor,
All
there you
right.
are. Oh,
Make
hello,
your
Mike.
way up to the front where we can all stare at you.
Mr. Mayor, good to see you. Good morning. Good morning. Come in and have a seat, have a seat. One on each side here. Mayor to my right, that's the best.
Okay, we'll do that.
My right-hand man.
All right.
Madam
All
Chair
right.
and committee members, thank you so much for bumping me up. I got a funeral to get to, and I appreciate it very
And,
much.
Prayers to Congressman Emmer's family. And
Yeah,
Congress-
Tom's beautiful mother, Patsy,
Yeah.
is in heaven, left this earth on Easter Sunday.
Yeah,
So we'll celebrate her.
Give the congressman our best.
I will indeed.
Thank you.
So thank you, members, Madam Chair, Co-Chair Lee. Our bill is to help the city of Rockford, and I say this very cautiously. It's only $2 million, but $2 million is a lot of money. $2 million in our pocket, each and every one of us. Can you imagine what that could do? Maybe some of you have it. Where's Greg Davids? He's not here. It's a lot of money. But in the scope of the bonding projects that we have in the state of Minnesota, it's a small amount. It's the smallest amount that Rockford needs to help with their wastewater treatment facility. It's very important to them, as all the projects are important to everyone that has one. And we appreciate that. And I know the hard task you have at hand, Madam Chair, Mr. Chair, in making decisions, but we appreciate any thought and consideration in this project for the great city of Rockford, who also has part of Hennepin County. They're in Wright County, they're in the Wright County, but they also are in Hennepin County. So they have the dual counties. With that, I'm going to throw it over to my testifiers. I'm not sure which one will testify first, so I'll leave that up to them. Madam Chair, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. And please state your name for the record, whomever would like to go first, and proceed.
Michael Werman. And
Mayor of Rockford.
Mayor of Rockford, Chair, and members of the committee. Thank you for the opportunity to testify. My name is Michael Werman, Mayor of the beautiful city of Rockford, a community of approximately 4,500 residents located in Wright and Hennepin counties, along the Highway 55 corridor west of Minneapolis. Rockford operates a municipal wastewater treatment facility that discharges to the North Fork of the Crow River. The city has a strong record of compliance and stewardship and has been recognized by the MPCA for outstanding wastewater operations in both 2023 and 2024. Over the past 5 years, Rockford has carefully planned critical improvements to address reliability, maintenance, and safety concerns for our wastewater facility. Because these needs could no longer be delayed, the work has been divided into 2 projects, with the city self-funding the first phase. While these improvements are necessary, the cost poses a significant burden for a community our size. Without state support, sewer costs per household are projected to increase by 150% over the next 3 years. The city of Rockford has demonstrated strong fiscal responsibility, and state funding is essential to help us protect public health, water quality, and the Crow River for the region. Thank you for your consideration. I would like to introduce John Friel of Stantec, our city engineer. He will provide further technical information regarding our project.
Mr. Friel, you may proceed.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Chair and committee. I'm John Friel with Stantec. I'm a senior professional engineer focused on wastewater treatment. Stantec is an engineering firm that helps the city of Rockford with engineering services and specifically with wastewater. I'm here to kind of supplement the mayor's comments and then also answer any questions related to the project. The city of Rockford, I think the mayor laid it out well. They've been working on planning improvements for the city of Rockford's wastewater plant. The city of Rockford's wastewater plant was originally built in the 1960s, and over the decades, they've done improvements similar to this every couple decades. And the last major improvements were 20 years ago, so it's coming due. And with wastewater treatment plants, like you're going to hear from the rest of the group today, they run 24/7. So this is improvements that are needed because the equipment is running all the time and it's wear and tear. It's a corrosive environment. Like the mayor mentioned, we help them identify improvements that are needed to extend the life of their treatment plant for the next 20 years. We phased the project in 2 phases so that they could get going on one of them, and they're funding that project. The second project, which we're here to request the money for, was phased to see if we could request additional funding to help them provide services at an affordable price. So with that, I'll end.
Thank you. My question to you, you said the utility bill will go up to 150%, you said?
I did, yes.
Okay, and so could you give us an approximation, like what is it now, dollar-wise? 150% doesn't really tell us much. What is it now and what will it be
Well,
per resident?
yeah, per resident, it's like scheduled per 1,000 gallons. So if we're looking at around $10 per 1,000 gallons, it could go up to, say, $30 per, 1,000 gallons that's being discharged.
I can add
Or
relative terms.
I did the math wrong. So yeah, if it's around $10, 150 times
Okay,
that would be what the cost is.
okay. Did you have something else to add, Mr.
Just,
Friel?
I don't have specific numbers, but we looked at it from a relative standpoint as far as rates across the state. And Rockford has competitive rates right now. This would bump it out of the range of what most cities are providing.
Sure. It would be more helpful if cities would come forward and instead of saying the percentage-wise, but say what the utility bill is now and how much that dollar amount will be, because that gives us a clearer picture of the financial issues.
Madam Chair?
Yes,
I agree with you. And also I think the amount of usage of gallons that an average family uses in a community. I think our water was running, so our municipal utility called me and said, hey, Joe, your bill's going up, your water's running. So I think it was around 12,000 gallons per day per household, anywhere from 5 to 12, I believe.
Okay.
And if that's incorrect, some engineer in the room will correct me. But I think that's important for people to know. Well, how many gallons does the average family use and what does it cost? It's
Right.
good to know.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
members, do we have any questions? All right, seeing none, closing comments, Representative McDonald.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity to present the bill and put me ahead so I can get to the funeral. I'll give your regards. Co-Chair Lee, thank you so much. And the committee members, have a blessed day.
And safe travels.
Thank you.
All right, we do have a quorum, and so Chair Lilly, how would you like to approve the minutes from March 26th?
Thank you, Madam Chair. That'll be my motion.
Okay, and then how about April 7th? Have you looked at those notes?
And April 7th as well.
All right, thank you for that. Any questions, comments, concerns? Approved? Who wants to approve that? Do we have, all right, aye?
Aye.
Yeah, okay. Any opposition? All right, seeing none, great. Minutes are approved. Moving on, let's hear Representative Zeleznikar. You may come up with your testifiers for Rice Lake. And then Representative Warwas will be on deck, followed by Representative Johnson. You may proceed.
Madam Chair, thank you, and members. Today, this bill is for the city of Rice Lake, which is a relatively new city in this great state of Minnesota, and the request is for $3.8 million to do an expansion on utilities for water and sewer, and I will defer to our elected officials here to explain the project.
All right, and just as a FYI, we have 5 minutes per bill today.
Jamie Heim, Mayor of Rice Lake.
Welcome.
The city of Rice Lake, as Natalie mentioned, is one of the newest cities in Minnesota. We are just north of Duluth. We actually share a border with Duluth. And we are set to go with a project being run by St. Louis County. It's the Rice Lake Road Corridor Project. It is being funded by a federal build grant, a state grant, and St. Louis County funding for a total of about $42.5 million. This will be the largest road infrastructure project ever done by St. Louis County, and is slated to begin in the latter part of this year. It will build our downtown Rice Lake. The funded corridor project will include 4 new roundabouts and a new city connector street with the intent, with the intent of promoting an increase in traffic safety, as well as significant business and residential development. Although this is a local project, it is a project that will have regional impact from our local cities of Rice Lake, Duluth, Hermantown, and Proctor, all the way up to the Iron Range. The anticipated business growth will result in additional jobs, which will directly benefit Rice Lake and our neighbors. There is also a significant need for additional residential development in our area. This project will help fill that need by increasing the access and underground infrastructure to many undeveloped properties. However, the grants that will be used to fund the corridor project are specifically to be used for the roadway system. They cannot be used for the underground utility improvements or extensions to the existing underground infrastructure that are needed to support the anticipated growth. Rice Lake needs $3.8 million to get our water and sewer systems extended under the new roadways before and during the construction of the roadways. We are a 10-year-old city with a population of 4,100 residents. We do not have the financial reserves to fund this, nor do we have a population that can support a levy in the amount necessary to fund this underground project. Our plan is to install water and sewer mains on the Martin and Rice Lake roads and on the new city connector street, which will supply several properties with the necessary underground infrastructure needed to support new business and residential homes. The proposed gravity sewer main on Rice Lake Road will eliminate Quick Trip's ever-failing lift station, and we plan to complete all underground utility work within the roundabout areas prior to and in conjunction with the county starting the corridor project. We also plan to extend the water main on the Martin Road to the Howard-Gneissen Road that will complete a water loop to supply clean, safe, and reliable drinking water to a group of residents that consistently have issues with their wells running dry in the summer months. It's crucial that we obtain the funding this year so that we can begin work on our underground infrastructure now. This will save over $500,000 in restoration costs. It is simply not cost-effective to rip up the new roadway to add the needed underground infrastructure in the future. It only makes sense to do all infrastructure construction, both road and underground, at the same time. In closing, the increase in property and sales tax generated by an increase in business and residential development in Rice Lake will not only benefit Rice Lake. The majority of these taxes generated will go to the state of Minnesota for further community investments. I'm asking you to invest in the future. Thank you for allowing us to speak today. And at this point, Councillor Johnson is available to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you for being here, and you may proceed. State your name for the record, of course.
Darrell Johnson, City Councilor, Rice Lake. We are getting a gift from the federal RAISE grant to build this new downtown Rice Lake roundabouts to keep traffic moving safely. But we do need to get this infrastructure extended under this corridor before that construction begins. This funding's crucial to make this project a positive situation.
Members, do we have any questions? No? Of course, Representative Skraba.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Chair Franzen.
You're welcome.
I'm correcting myself.
It's all good.
Trying to learn
We're
how to
friends
do
here.
that better. As someone who uses Highway 4 coming into from the range down, this looks like it's going to alleviate a lot of the congestion that happens at the Quick Trip Boomtown intersection, as there are a lot of feeder there. The other one the city, that's what it is, sorry. I see what it is now. I apologize. I was going to ask him what the other one is for, but now I know. It comes out by the McDonald's, the gas station downtown. Yes, got it. All right, yeah, thank you, but it's a good project. I hope we can make this finish. Oh, I know what I wanted to ask, Madam Chair, sorry. Yeah, there, I screwed it up already. From the roundabout that goes behind Boomtown, is that a new road? Is that something totally new?
Yes.
All right, let's go through the chair, but.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry.
And,
Yes, it is.
okay. All right, does that answer your question? All right. Closing comments.
Thank you, Chair Franson and members. Thank you for considering Rice Lake. It's a new booming city, and it needs dollars for infrastructure to grow the commercial tax base and to grow the community. So thank you for consideration.
You're welcome, and thank you for coming. Appreciate it. All right, next on deck, Representative Warwas. Representative Warwas will be advocating for the city of Eveleth today. Representative Warwas, you may state your name for the record and proceed.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Representative Cal Warwas from the Iron Range. Madam Chair, Co-Chair Lee, and members, I'm here today to present House File 4055. And this bill provides $4.2 million in bonding through the Public Facilities Authority for critical improvements to the City of Eveleth's wastewater treatment facility. And these upgrades will allow the city to meet the new MPCA permit requirements for phosphorus and mercury while addressing aging and failing infrastructure. This is a project driven by compliance and necessity. Eveleth has already completed pilot testing, secured MPCA approval of its facility plan, and begun design work. Construction is scheduled to begin in 2027 to meet a 2029 compliance deadline. However, affordability is a real challenge. As you know, local sewer rates are already at or above the Public Facilities Authority threshold, limiting the city's ability to fund this project without state partnership. Without these improvements, the city's risk regulatory penalties, environmental harm, and significantly higher long-term costs. This investment protects water quality, supports public health, and ensures a small Iron Range community can meet state-mandated standards without overburdening its residents. Madam Chair and members, I respectfully ask for your support. I'll now turn it over to Pat Oman, City Administrator for Eveleth, and Tom Dye, Consulting Engineer with the city, to provide additional details. Thank you.
All right, and would you like to testify, sir?
Yes,
All right,
Madam
please
Chair.
state your name for the record.
Madam Chair, my name is Pat Ullman. I'm the City Administrator with the City of Eveleth.
Okay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And the project summary that Representative Warwas had mentioned, it's a $4.2 million request in state bonding to upgrade the wastewater treatment facility to meet the new state and federal guidelines. The investment will fund advanced filtration systems, rehabilitation and replacement of aging infrastructure, and compliance with MPCA permit requirements. Why this project matters is we have been issued a new permit March 1st of 2022. We have new limits on total phosphorus and mercury, and we have a compliance deadline of March 31st of 2029. Without these upgrades, we'll be non-compliant with state regulations. There could be potential enforcement actions and penalties and environmental impact to the regional water. Without this funding, our rates currently are $45 to $50 per month. They would go as high as $100 per month for our households. The project status and the readiness, we've completed the pilot testing on the filtration technology. We have submitted a facility plan to MPCA. In the long PFA priority list, we are number 11, so we are considered a very high priority for this project. And we have been working on design since November of 2025. The construction timeline will begin in spring of 2027 with the completion of fall of 2028. The project costs are $12.6 million. We are requesting $4.2 million, about a third of that. The local investment to date has been about $250,000. The affordability challenge, as I mentioned earlier, our current sewer rates are already at 1.4% of the median household income, and this meets or exceeds the public facility affordability threshold, limiting ability to raise further rates, as I mentioned earlier. Why the state investment is needed is to ensure in compliance with the environmental standards, protect the regional water quality and public health, support economic development stability in our small Iron Range community, and prevent significant future costs from system failures. There are additional cost pressures, so our interest is to start this early, not only with federal tariffs and inflation, but also with the Build America, Buy America requirements. We would like to start this project sooner than later. So the request, Madam Chair, is to consider House File 4055 for the amount of $4.2 million in state bonding to help the city of Eveleth deliver this critical infrastructure on time and in compliance. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for that testimony. Did you have some words of wisdom to
Yes,
add?
Madam Chair.
Okay.
My name is Tom Dye. I work with MSA Professional Services, engineer for Eveleth. And just say, as far as the affordability, I've been doing this, well, I'll just say over 30 years. And I think this is the first community I've ran into where there are sewer rates already at affordability before we even put a shovel in the ground. So it's quite a leap for them to try to fund this without some assistance. And we realize that the dollars need to be spread out. And so we're not asking, obviously, for the full amount. But that 1.4%, I think, is a result of two things. It is their median household income is low, but also Eveleth is a responsible community. They've been doing collection system improvements and other improvements to their system to keep that in shape and that. So that's partly why their rates are higher, is they have gone forward kept up with their capital improvements.
All right, thank you. Members, do we have any questions? Okay, closing comments, Representative Warwas.
Members of the committee, appreciate your time and hope we can get your support on this bill. Thank you.
Thank you for coming down here to the great city of St. Paul. Appreciate you. All right, next up, we have Representative Johnson. Oh, he has a second bill.
Madam Chair, I want to stay here just a little bit longer.
Well,
if you don't
yes,
mind.
you know, it wouldn't be an Iron Ranger if you didn't have more than one request.
That's right.
All right, you may
You got this figured out.
have your next city up, the city of Virginia.
Madam Chair and members, again, for the record, Cal Warwas from the Iron Range. Before us, we have House File 3848. City of Virginia is requesting $4 million in state bonding for the 6th Avenue reconstruction project tied directly to the upcoming steam plant decommissioning. This is a time-sensitive opportunity to replace failing water, sewer, and stormwater infrastructure while access is available, avoiding higher costs and greater disruption later. This investment will protect public infrastructure, ensure resident safety, reduce flooding risk, and unlock redevelopment, jobs, and long-term economic growth in our downtown corridor. And I have with me here at my right, my expert testifier on the project, Mayor Larry Cuffey Jr.
Thank you, Cal.
All right, you may state your name for the record.
Yes, Larry Cuffey Jr., the mayor of the city of Virginia, Minnesota. Thank you for the opportunity. Chair Franson and Co-Chair Lee and the members of the committee, I appreciate your time and efforts here. This is a very short synopsis of a very complicated project. It's beginning in 2018. And I'll begin by saying that the city of Virginia is unique in many other cities in Minnesota because we have all our residential and business customers was on a STEAM program for heat. That's been eliminated by the Department of Public Utilities, and all businesses and residents in the city of Virginia, which is a population of 8,348 people, have had to convert their heating system from steam to gas with the low residential cost to each homeowner, the low cost of about $30,000 to residential costs of up to $100,000 and business costs up to $600,000 and one business at $946,000. For steam conversion. So we have two lakes, Silver Lake and Bigley Lake, and this 6th Avenue corridor runs right between them. Now, the aging infrastructure, we have a lot of leaks. We've made a lot of repairs. We've had some leakage into the lake system, so we have an environmental catastrophe ready to move forward. So this is very time sensitive. We've been working on this since 2018. So the project overview is this is just phase one of the 6th Avenue construction. Will replace the failing water, sewer, and stormwater systems below the former steam plant. And what's unique about this is that we have a steam plant, we have steam lines and we have water lines. Well, the water lines made back in the 1900s will go right along the steam lines. And the steam lines kept the water lines from freezing at the winter. And with the steam conversion and steam shutoff in most of the residential areas with just a small section of the corridor of the business community now, we've had a significant amount of water breaks all over the city of Virginia, and it's costing the homeowners in the city of Virginia a significant amount of money in that regard. So the investment is going to modernize this infrastructure, serving approximately 2/3 of the city of Virginia, because this is the main corridor for water and sewer, storm drain down to our wastewater treatment plant. The preliminary engineering is already complete. We have a final design expected by mid-2026. Construction is planned for 2027 in coordination with the steam plant decommissioning. And with that steam plant decommissioning, it's because it was run on wood and coal. So can't use coal anymore, can't burn wood. And so we replaced them with gas boilers. So we are operating on gas as opposed to coal and wood, which has been a significant problem from an environmental perspective. And the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency could certainly attest to that. We plan on completing this project in 2028, and we are ready with some additional funding. The full construction includes the replacement of the water, sanitary sewer, stormwater systems, utility relocation, and a complete street, sidewalk, and lighting improvements will be part of the Phase 2 project. Total project cost, $11.1 million. Construction cost, $9.19 million. Requested in state funds, we're requesting $4 million. The remaining funds has come through city levy and utility rates. So this project represents a time-sensitive opportunity, critical infrastructure, and with 54.9% of our residents classified to low or moderate income and a regional unemployment rate of 5.5%, exceeding the state and national averages, the city lacks the capacity to address these level of loans. So we thank you for the opportunity. I know my time is limited here, so I would conclude with that and open for any questions you might have for clarity. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Yes, and while your words may be limited, your time is very valuable and appreciated. Thank you.
Yes, I thank you.
Members, do we have any questions? No? All right. Representative Warwas, closing comments?
Chairs and members, thank you so much for your time today, and I hope you will consider this, the mayor's words here. This project is very critical to the city of Virginia. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
You're welcome.
Branson.
Yes.
Co-Chair Lee, members of the committee.
Have a great day and safe travels back.
Thank you. You as well.
Thank you. Representative Johnson, you have 2 projects up as well.
And I will take it as a good sign that the chair was so excited about hearing about my bill that you're just
So excited. Hardly contain myself. All right. Yeah, I know. You may state your name for the record and proceed.
Thank you, Chair, Co-Chair Lee, members of the committee. I'm Representative Wayne Johnson, and thank you for hearing today about bill number, or file number 3989. Washington County's Highway 10, 17, and 17B intersection improvements in Lake Elmo is a necessary improvement to support a growing community, especially because a big, beautiful new elementary school is being constructed at this intersection. I would like to welcome Washington County Commissioner Cox to testify on behalf of the important project.
Welcome to the committee, Commissioner Cox, and you may state your name for the record and proceed.
Thank you. Co-Chairs Franzen and Lee, members of the committee, my name is Bethany Cox. I'm a Washington County Commissioner representing the eastern portion of Washington County, including the community of Lake Elmo. I want to thank Representative Johnson for his support for this project and the committee for your consideration of this $2 million request for improving the intersection of these 2 county highways in Lake Elmo. Washington County, in partnership with the City of Lake Elmo, has developed a comprehensive approach to addressing deficiencies at this very important intersection, and I'm just going to share a little bit about this area. Lake Elmo is one of Washington County's fastest growing communities, and the project area, as the representative shared, is at the corner of a brand new elementary school that will be opening in August of 2026. This elementary school really changes the land use of this area and alters the character. And so we have some temporary infrastructure that the county has partnered with the school district on to have lighted intersections for the opening of the school. We want to ensure, though, the future viability of this intersection for vehicles, for walking, and for biking in the community. Much of the project area does not have sidewalks or trails. This was recently a kind of more rural community area, and growing traffic means residents, and I'll kind of add in here families, are not comfortable crossing these busy streets. This project's going to focus on new pedestrian and bike paths near the intersection to connect this elementary school to surrounding neighborhoods, which includes Cimarron Mobile Home Park, which is a highly diverse mobile home community in the city of Lake Elmo. What I will share here, since I have a little bit of time and a few kind of comments left, is my children walk to the elementary school across the street. They play on the playground. That's just what kids do. So what's going to happen here is we've got a very large community with small children in this mobile home park. Their children are going to want to cross this very busy street to get to the elementary school to play at the playground. And so with the support of the $2 million here from the state, Washington County can really make sure that those children can cross safely. I'm not worried about when school's in session. There's going to be crossing guards. There's going to be adults helping them cross. But Saturday mornings, when 5- and 6-year-old little kids want to go to the playground, we need to make sure that this area is as safe as it possibly can be so they can cross the street and get to the playground and then back home again. So Washington County has already invested $365,000 and is seeking state funds to help implement the project and maximize the benefits to residents in the area. If these state funds unfortunately are not awarded, the county is going to be limited in what improvements can be made to pedestrian connectivity and safety outside the intersection itself. So thank you for your time and consideration of this $2 million project.
Thank you for testifying. All right, members, any questions? All right, closing comments, Representative Johnson.
I could not add any more. I think she said everything that needed to be said. I'd like to thank the committee, chair, co-chair, for your consideration.
You're welcome. All right. Now we have House File 3400, Representative Johnson, and you have Mr. Charles Cadenhead, correct? All right, fantastic. You may proceed, Representative Johnson.
Thank you, Chair, co-chair, members of the committee. Again, thank you for hearing this important bill today, House File 3400. This is an example of the statement that we heard from a wonderful movie that if you build it, they will come, and they have done that. Highway 36 bridge was done going across the St. Croix. Once they did that, it opened up a whole new community, and it's become one of the fastest growing communities in western Wisconsin, especially when people are looking for affordable housing, including my son, who has just purchased his first home there. So what has happened is there's created a lot of traffic there, and it's created one of the most crash-prone drives there. And the amount of accidents over the period of time, and over a 10-year period, 200 incidents have happened with multiple fatalities. Highway 36 is a vital transportation link between that area coming into the Twin Cities. There needs to be some repairs done. There's some modifications done on that road to try to make it safer for our commuters. With that, I will pass it off to our testifier.
All right, Mr. Cadenhead, you may proceed.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Co-Chair, committee members. My name is Charles Cadenhead, Mayor of Lake Elmo. I'm here on behalf of the City of Lake Elmo to underscore the urgent need for the state partnership on this critical infrastructure project. As Representative Johnson stated, the City of Lake Elmo is requesting $5 million for the intersection at Trunk Highway 36 and Lake Elmo Avenue, also Washington County, CSAW 17. Lake Elmo is uniquely impacted by this proposal because we are the only city required by the Minnesota Department of Transportation to make a direct local contribution to this project. Many other communities and Wisconsin residents will benefit from this improvement. Lake Elmo residents are a small minority of the users when compared to the tens of thousands of commuters, and we believe that it is unfair to charge our citizens solely for this improvement. While we understand the importance of shared responsibility, the scale of this request places an extraordinary, disproportionate burden on one single community. As part of the project, the City of Lake Elmo would take on the responsibility of maintaining a newly constructed frontage road as well into perpetuity, as well as funding the extension of turn lanes Highway 36 at Keatson Avenue, approximately $80,000 at a minimum. With our municipal consent, we're impacting the safety of 2 access points on 36 that are highly congested and crashes do occur at Keats Avenue and Cassaw 17. At the same time, the Metropolitan Council has directed Lake Elmo to accommodate significant population growth in the coming years. Meeting those regional growth expectations requires substantial and immediate investment in our core infrastructure. These investments are not an option. They are necessary to support the housing, transportation, public safety, and environment compliance for new existing residents alike. The financial reality facing our city is stark. Lake Elmo's entire general fund budget is just under $9 million, yet we are being asked to contribute $5 million toward this single project. That level of commitment is simply not sustainable for a city of our size without severe consequences. Without state assistance, we risk complicating the planned infrastructure and other critical service investments needed to meet our mandated growth requirements. State funding for this project would not only ensure its timely completion, it would also allow Lake Elmo to focus on other pressing infrastructure challenges facing our community. This project is urgent. Delay increases costs, strains resources, jeopardizes Lake Elmo's ability to meet state and regional expectations. We are not asking to avoid responsibility. We were asking for a fair and workable partnership that recognizes both the regional importance of this project and the very real financial limits of our community. Thank you for your time and consideration. I respectfully ask for your support.
Thank you, Mr. Cadenhead. Members, do we have questions? Chair Lee.
Thank you, Madam Chair and Mayor. So in the document said you're asking for $5 million. So is that the total cost for the city share, or is that half of the city share to that project?
Mr. Cadenhead.
Madam Chair, Co-Chair Lee, committee members, that is the ask for the city's share to the project. We are also participating in an additional amount of money, $80,000 for an additional turn lane extension at 36 in Keats.
Madam Chair.
Chair Lee.
And so typically, we ask for 50% match or whatnot. So are you guys able to do the 2.5 if that's required for us to get this forward?
Mr. Cadenhead.
Madam Chair, Co-Chair Lee, and committee members, we're able to do that support. That impact to our residents is currently for city services roughly for each residential household is $17.95 per year. This would impact our bonding at an increase to each resident at $90 per year over a 10-year period. While this is a regional project and not solely a City of Lake Elmo project. Thank you.
Okay, did I hear $90 a year?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Members, any other questions? All right. Representative Johnson.
Thank you. I'd like to just wrap it up. Something I didn't pass on is there's 57,000 vehicles that go down this road. And this project right now, and it's on a road that wasn't meant to handle this kind of stuff. So in that action, when that bridge was put in, it created a dangerous situation. What this project does is make that road safer. And because the growth is just going to increase dramatically, and it's just going to get worse and worse. So thank you for your time today. Thank you, committee chair, co-chair, for your time and your consideration.
All right. Thank you for testifying, and thank you for making your way down here, Mr. Cadenhead. All right, next up, we have Representative Perryman, who has 2 bills up, followed by Representative Harder, who has 2 bills up, and then Representative Roach. So you may get back behind the testifying table and await your turn. Representative Perryman, welcome to the committee. You may state your name for the record and proceed.
Thank you, Representative Bernie Perryman. Thank you, Chair Franson and Chair Lee and the committee members for listening and taking the opportunity to listen to HF 4599. I'm going to be brief and let my testifiers do most of the heavy lifting here, but HF 4599 is an investment into the community of St. Joseph, a growing community. And it's also an investment into the economic growth around St. Joseph, which is central Minnesota. The bill will provide $2.25 million in matching funds to support Phase 2 of the Northland Business Center Industrial Park that is located in the city of St. Joseph. With that said, I will turn the microphones over to our testifiers who know a lot more about the infrastructure that's going on there than I do.
All right, welcome to the committee, both of you. You may state your name for the record and proceed.
I'm Lori Bartlett. I'm the Finance Director for the City of St. Joseph. And good morning, and thank you, Chair Franzen, Chair Lee, and members of the committee for giving us the opportunity to testify in support of our request today. House File 4599, authored by Representative Perryman, would provide $2.25 million in matching funds to build Phase 2 of the Northland Business Center Industrial Park. The city plans to use the funds for a lift station, extension of the Westwood Parkway to the east, water, sewer, stormwater utilities, and interior streets for an estimated 24 additional industrial lots. The project is part of St. Joseph's long-term capital investment plan and aids the city in the development of the industrial corridor. 30% of the parcels in the city of St. Joseph are exempted from property taxes, mostly due to the presence of the College of St. Benedict. This creates a unique challenge for the city. Bonding for this project will help us by providing jobs and broadening our tax base while restraining property tax increases for our citizens. This project already has proven a proven return on investment. The city received VDPI funds for the first phase of the Northland Business Center, and in less than 5 years, the 74 acres of greenfield has been developed into over 500,000 square foot of new building valued at $41 million, resulting in more than 200 full-time well-paying jobs, earning $11 million annually. Phase 2 has a significant growth potential with the capacity to double both job creation and building square footage, multiplying the economic impact to the city, to the region, and to the state. St. Joseph receives many inquiries for additional shovel-ready industrial lots due to the proximity of I-94 and the central Minnesota economic corridor. The City of St. Joseph Northland Business Center will help our economic growth, increase our tax base, and meet the demands of workforce needs as part of the region. This improvement will help the city as well as businesses with affordable, shovel-ready industrial lots for major industries and job creation that the city needs to improve the economic development goals. We respectfully request that as you assemble a capital investment bill this year, our request be included in with the help of our community to continue to grow and thrive.
All right.
Thank you again for listening to our testimony and to Representative Perryman for authoring our bill. We also have Randy Sabart here, our city engineer, in case the committee may have some technical questions towards the project.
Thank you, Ms. Bartlett. Members, do we have questions? No, I think we're still in shock hearing my inner voice out loud. Chair Hansen.
Madam Chair, would it be appropriate to amend the committee rules to have, whenever there's an audio-visual error like that, that cookies come from the offender?
I will bring something for you next week. All right. All right, seeing no other questions, did the engineer want to add anything? No? Okay. Closing comments, Representative Perryman.
Thank you, both chairs and the members. I am very excited to be able to help this community. I've seen it grow from farm field to a large area of workforce, great restaurants. I won't contend with the chairs, Alexandra, I promise.
Easy to get to, hard to leave.
But the expanding workforce, the university that's there, it's a thriving community, and this project will really bring not only help and the growth to St. Joseph, but also to central Minnesota, the surrounding farm towns that are around there, and that everyone is able to come and enjoy the area. And I invite all of you to please come to St. Joseph and enjoy the great food, microbreweries, everything it has to offer.
On your tab, of course, correct?
Absolutely.
All right, perfect.
Only when you bring your cookies.
Okay. All right, thank you for that, and thank you for making your way down to the Capitol to testify. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Next up, Representative Perryman has House File 3767. And Representative Perryman, you've got the floor.
Again, thank you all, chairs and the members, for listening to my bill of HF 3767, which is investing money into town roads and bridges. There is also a senator bill from Senator Nelson at Senate File 3978. Minnesota townships are responsible for roughly 55,518 miles of road, more than any other unit of government of road miles. Per last available statewide number, roads and bridges represented 62.1% of all township spending in the state, roughly $270 million in 2023. Townships by their nature are rural and have limited property tax bases. At last report, MnDOT characterizes 356 township bridges are in poor condition. 35 deck problems, 48 with superstructural problems, 151 with substructure problems, and 122 culverts greater than 10 feet in poor condition. Bottom line, town halls, townships are responsible for a lot of the bridges. They don't have the revenue to keep up with them, and this is a safety issue for not only transportation, but the farmers and agriculture who use the roads. I'm going to now turn it over to my testifier and put the nuts and bolts together for the bridge.
All right, you may state your name for the record and proceed. Welcome to the committee.
Thank you. My name is Graham Berg-Moberg. I am an attorney with the Minnesota Association of Townships. I'd just like to start by thanking Representative Perryman for bringing this forward, and I'd like to thank you, chairs and members, for hearing it. To give you a sense of the scale of the problem here, Minnesota, by some counts, has the 4th largest road network in the country, and we simply don't fund it at anywhere near that level. So as Representative Perryman mentioned, townships have the largest share of that. It's about 55,518 miles out of about 141,000. In the Township Association's opinion, proper maintenance for this would represent about a $100 million commitment from the state. Unfortunately, most of the money supporting this has come from off the back of local property tax payers. So townships spent about $270 million on their roads in the latest available numbers, 2023. Of that, the state support was approximately $40 million. This is it's becoming an issue over time. Underinvestment is causing problems. I should say, critically, with the bridge issue, the special bridge account for town bridges has been spent out for 2026 already. This is the 2nd year in a row that has happened before session has even been up. So this is not a silver bullet. It's not the total solution, but this is a big step in the right direction in terms of getting some of our smallest communities some relief from the large task that we as a state have set for them. So thank you very much for hearing, and I hope you will respectfully consider supporting this bill.
Thank you for that, and thank you for coming down to testify. Members, do we have a question? Yes, Representative Carroll.
Thank you, Chair. I just have one quick question. So at the risk of being attacked by bats and rakes and stuff, is it necessary to have all these roads in this time and age?
Yes, would you like to go through the chair?
I am sorry, Madam Chair. I didn't mean to step on your toes there.
Representative Carroll.
Thank you, Chair. And can some be eliminated possibly?
You may proceed, yes. Thank you.
Madam Chair, there are, one of the difficulties facing townships is that the state government can devolve roads onto the counties can devolve roads onto the townships, but the townships can't get rid of them for, I don't want to say it's bad reasons, of course, but as the lowest on the totem pole, if we try to get rid of something, we're landlocking somebody, and that is forbidden by law without their permission, which obviously they're loath to grant for totally reasonable reasons.
Representative Carroll.
They would be thank you, Chair. They'd be necessarily landlocked?
Mr. Moberg.
In a lot of cases, so
not all cases.
Well, in.
Thank you. You're bringing cookies too next week.
I caught myself this time.
Mr., is it Berg Moberg?
That's, yes, yes, Madam Chair. Yes, so my day job, I describe it as I teach very small towns how not to accidentally commit crimes. So I'm an attorney, I answer an answering service. They call me to understand what the law is as it applies to them. And I can tell you as a practical matter, that is what stands in the way of most. What will have happened is once upon a time, this road will have been, 4 or 5 family farms were on it, but through consolidation, as people move away to the city, eventually you end up with a situation where it's just one person back there, and you're still maintaining it essentially for that reason, and you can't get rid of it because I believe it's 163.11 forbids that without permission of the landowner.
Representative Carroll? Okay. All right, members, any other questions? I learned a lot today in this exchange. Yes. Representative Allen?
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you for bringing this bill forward. As a former township supervisor, this is something that was something I had to deal with on a regular basis. I was appreciative, Mr. Moberg, for a lot of the legal consulting you did for our township, as we definitely had to navigate things from time to time. And getting back to Representative Carroll's question, depending on your county and where you're at, just because farm sites are eliminated on particular roads doesn't necessarily mean it's not going to be a construction site at some point in time. Within our townships, at least within Goodhue County, we have the ability, if there was previous homesteads that are there, that those sites can be brought up at some point in time again. So just because there may be only one house on that particular road at any given time, at some point in time down the road, they will have the ability to be able to add those homes back into that particular township, which is something that we always have to navigate and negotiate within our county. So it's long-term, we have to keep in mind that these roads are critical to be open in order to be able to have access for emergency services, for school buses to be able to navigate these roads, and it's just one of those things that you may not use this road from ever, but the products and everything rolling off that road will impact everybody here in this state.
God bless the township supervisors. Any other further questions? Okay. Closing comments, Representative Perryman.
Thank you, chairs and members, and for the conversation and the questions and feedback that Representative Allen also had to offer. This is an important bill that makes an important investment in maybe some overlooked Minnesota's infrastructure, and that is bridges and roads. And I know the focus of this group is infrastructure, so I please ask for your support on HF 3767 when you put your final plan together, and thank you for listening in today.
Thank you, Representative Perryman. All right, Representative Harder, are you in the room? All right, please make your way to the testifying table, and you have 2 bills up. And is Representative Roach in the room? Okay, then next up, okay, then we will have Representative Myers up after that, okay? Okay, thank you. Welcome to the committee. And Representative Harder, you may proceed.
Good morning, Chair Franzen and Chair Lee and members for hearing House File 3575 today for the City of Norwood Young America. For nearly 2 years, the city has been doing extensive work on options for their wastewater treatment facility. And with me today, I have Seth Peterson and Audra Akrust, who is going to tell you more about the project.
All right, you may state your name for the record and proceed. Lovely bow tie, by the way.
Chair Franzen, Andrea Akrust, for the record. Chair Franzen and Co-Chair Lee and members of the committee. Good morning, my name is Andrea Akrust with the City Administrator for Norwood Young America. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. I would also like to thank Representative Harder for her support in writing this bill. We are requesting state bonding support in the 2026 capital investment bill for the design and permitting of our new wastewater treatment facility. This is the city's highest priority due to public health, MPCA compliance, and to responsibly plan for growth. Notably, the city has not previously requested a state earmark. Located in Carver County, one of the fastest-growing areas in the Twin Cities, Norwood Young America is held to Met Council standards, yet it is not allowed to access its system. This requires our city to finance and support a wastewater treatment facility independently. We have spent several years evaluating our facility and taking proactive steps towards a long-term solution. We have purchased the necessary land and positioned the project on the Clean Water Revolving Fund project priority list and intended use plan. While we intend to fully utilize those resources, we cannot access them until the project is designed and certified by the MPCA. A $6 million appropriation is critical to completing that design work, unlocking those funds, and ensuring this project remains affordable for our residents. To explain the technical need, system limitations, and regulatory considerations that justify this request, I will turn the testimony over to our city engineer and project manager, Seth Peterson.
All right, Mr. Peterson, you may state your name for the record and proceed.
Yes, thank you, Chair, Co-Chair, Vice Chairs, and members of the committee. My name is Seth Peterson. I work with Bolton and Menk. I'm the city's engineer for this project. As the city's engineer for this project, my responsibility is to ensure that Norwood Young America's infrastructure is safe, reliable, and compliant with state and federal requirements. From an engineering and operational standpoint, significant reinvestment in the city's wastewater treatment plant is now unavoidable. Norwood Young America's wastewater treatment plant was constructed decades ago to serve a much smaller community and is now operating at or beyond the useful life of key structural, mechanical, electrical components. Continued reliance on aging systems increases the risk of failures and costly emergency repairs. The plant was not originally designed to meet today's MPCA permit requirements. As treatment standards continue to evolve, the city faces increasing difficulty maintaining consistent compliance without upgrading core treatment processes and system redundancy. The city's wastewater effluent ultimately discharges to the Minnesota waters relied upon by downstream communities. Upgrading the treatment plant will improve reliability and pollutant removal, reducing environmental risk, and supporting the state's clean water goals. Aging systems are harder to operate, maintain, and staff. Modern upgrades will improve safety, efficiency, and long-term operational reliability. State bonding support allows Norwood Young America to address infrastructure needs before failures occur, avoiding emergency repairs, service disruptions, and higher long-term costs. The wastewater treatment plant is also a limiting factor for future growth. As a city's engineer, I review whether infrastructure can responsibly support new housing, businesses, and community facilities. Today, the wastewater system constrains that ability. These improvements at the wastewater facility will allow the city to provide additional treatment capacity needed to meet the permit requirements set forth by the MPCA, support planned residential and economic growth. The city has over 300 acres available to support housing and industrial growth and anticipates 2,200 new housing units and 500 new jobs by 2050. And will allow the city to make development decisions based on sound engineering, not infrastructure limitations. The city has completed the facility planning process and capital planning to identify the most cost-effective solution. Even so, wastewater treatment upgrades represent a substantial financial commitment for a community the size of Norwood Young America. State bonding is essential to deliver the project before infrastructure failures occur, avoid more costly emergency repairs, and protect water quality consistent with statewide priorities, and keep utility rates affordable for residents and businesses. For example, current rates right now are about $45 a month for the typical wastewater user. Based on the affordability and the median household income, that will raise to $83 a month. That's under the affordability using the programs that are available to the city. 83 is a reasonable number. Without bonding and additional funding, those rates would go to $290 a month. So substantial and needed here for this bonding. So in closing,
I'm going to stop you right there. I hope the public is listening to that comment right there. Can you do the before and what it would be without bonding?
current rates right now are about $45 a month for a typical user. Using the state programs that are here and the affordability and the median household income, those rates would go to $83 a month, almost a 200% or a doubling of that. But that's within the affordability rates. That's a reasonable number to pay. Without funding, in this funding gap that's outlined in the city's one-page information, Those rates would go to $290 a month, and that is just for wastewater.
And this is why bonding bills are so important. Because without the assistance from the state of Minnesota, our citizens of our great state will not be able to afford their water needs and their infrastructure needs. So thank you.
You're welcome. So from an engineering standpoint, this project is necessary, well-planned, and justified. It reduces infrastructure risk, ensures regulatory compliance, protects Minnesota's water resources, and supports responsible growth. Thank you for your time and consideration, and I'm here to answer any questions.
Thank you. Members, Representative Sexton.
Briefly, and you don't have to answer today, but I used to be in the engineering business for pipeline. I would really like to see a breakdown, because this is one of the highest project engineering and permitting costs I've seen in this committee. Significantly, like in 3 times as much. Thank you.
Members, any further questions? Comments? No? Okay, Representative Harder, would you like to wrap up?
Yes, thank you, Chair and Committee, today for hearing this important bill. As you put your bill together, I hope that you will give consideration to Norwood Young America. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, and then next up, Representative Harder, you have a bill up for Watertown. All right, thank you for making your way to the testifying table. Representative Harder, you may state your name for the record and proceed.
All right, thank you, Chair Franzen and Chair Lee and members for hearing House File 3574. This is a bill to fund regional public infrastructure in the city of Watertown. The project addresses the need for safe and reliable infrastructure on a corridor that serves thousands of vehicles and hundreds of pedestrians daily. I have with me today the Mayor of Watertown, Mayor Walters, and Administrator Talsma to testify to provide further information about the project.
All right, you may state your name for the record and welcome both of you.
Thank you again, Chair Franzen and Chair Lee, and members of the House Capital Investment Committee. I am Michael Walters, Mayor of the City of Watertown, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity to speak with you today. I want to start by thanking our Representative Harder for her strong support and advocacy for the public infrastructure needs for the City of Watertown. As a city just under 5,000 people, we work hard to provide our residents and businesses with core infrastructure. Today, we hope you will look favorably on a $750,000 request to assist us with our regional road infrastructure needs, specifically Lewis Avenue and Fremont Street that run through the heart of our downtown. These corridors are very poor conditions and are not ADA accessible for pedestrians. This critical infrastructure project is needed for public safety, pedestrian safety, and improved connections to the Watertown Business District. You know, for a community our size, large projects like this are difficult to fund alone, and with your partnership, we can deliver infrastructure that is safe, accessible, and built to serve Watertown for decades to come. You know, we respectfully ask for your support for this needed infrastructure project. Chair Franzen, I also have with me our Watertown City Administrator, Dan Tolsma, as a resource who can help answer any detailed questions. But I just want to say thank you again very much for your service to our great state of Minnesota.
Thank you. Members, do we have any questions? No? Okay. Representative Harder.
That's fantastic. Thank you again, Chair and members, for hearing this important bill for the city of Watertown.
Thank you, and thank you for making your way down to the Capitol. We appreciate your time. Next up, we have Representative Roach for the city of Dennison. Looks like an important water and sewer infrastructure project. $7 million. Representative Roach, welcome to the committee. You may state your name for the record and proceed.
Thank you, Chair. Representative Drew Roach. Alongside me is Mayor Flatten with Dennison, and we're here to present a bonding bill for water infrastructure, and I will let him give some details on it.
All right, you may state your name for the record and proceed.
All right.
Chair Franson, members of the committee, my name is Jeffrey Flodden, and I serve as the mayor in Dennison, Minnesota. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today about the urgent infrastructure challenges facing our community and our request for bonding support. Dennison is a small, vibrant community of 223 residents. Despite its size, the public health and environmental risks facing the city are serious and immediate. In July of 2025, the Minnesota Department of Health issued a notice of violation after the city exceeded contamination limits for gross alpha and radium. Dennison currently lacks the treatment capacity and infrastructure to remediate those contaminants at the source. Radium in drinking water can accumulate in bone and bone marrow and increase lifetime risks of bone cancer and leukemia, especially for children, pregnant people, and medically vulnerable residents, and cannot be removed by boiling. Solutions are necessary for Dennison before long-term harm occurs. At the same time, the city's wastewater collection and pond systems are failing because of high inflow and infiltration, increasing the risk of sewer backups and emergency bypass pumping. The MPCA issued notices of violation in 2020 and 2023 for discharges outside the acceptable period, a pattern that signals the system cannot reliably protect public health or the environment without substantial investment. The proposed project will directly address these failures, which includes drilling and installing a new well, municipal well, and rehabilitating the existing well. Rehabilitating the well house, water treatment plant, and elevated storage tank, installing new water mains to properly loop the distribution system, and replacing portions of the sanitary sewer collection system and expanding and rehabilitating the sanitary sewer pond system. Dennison is a low resource community. 40% of the households are low to moderate income. Median household income is $41,875. The city's net tax capacity is only 3%, so local funding alone cannot bridge the gap. The city has secured $1 million in congressional directed spending to leverage this work, but needs $7 million in legislative dollars to fully realize the potential feasible project and to attract the pending federal, state, and local funding necessary. This investment is not about convenience. It's about protecting people's health, preventing environmental harm, and ensuring basic, reliable services for a vulnerable rural community. I respectfully ask the committee to fund Dennison's request. We deeply appreciate your support in helping Dennison make the necessary improvements to protect our community for generations to come, and I thank you for your consideration.
And it sounds, thank you for that testimony. And it does sound like this bill is very important to your committee.
Yes.
Members, do you have questions? Yes, Representative Hansen, Chair Hansen.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And, I drive through Dennison occasionally, and I just was looking at the map of where what the city boundaries are. And I'm wondering, we just had a discussion about townships, and is there an opportunity here for, with the federal money, maybe some USDA money of a quasi-rural water system that would provide service to the townships? It looks like, we've got some residences and businesses that are right outside the city property, and I'm not sure which town, is there just one township around it, or do we got a couple of them? And
Yes,
how close are people where you could build in additional dollars that may justify the public debt?
Mr. Flatten or
Chair.
Representative Roach?
You can take it. Over the years, our engineers have looked at possibly working with the city in Nerstrand, and we think that the costs were, it doesn't make any sense to do that. As far as the townships, the city of Dennison is a fairly large area. Our our system doesn't go very far out outside the city, basically the core of the city. So we only have about 90 users for the system. To ask us to work with the townships, I don't think is applicable either. So am I answering the question?
Representative Hanson, Chair Hanson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So is like Marathon or the Meat Locker, are those in the city, or are those in the township?
That's it.
Mr. Flatten?
Okay, sure. It's in the city, yes.
Okay. Members, any other further questions? No? All right. Representative Roach, to your bonding bill.
Thank you,
First time in
Chair.
the committee, by the way. You did not bring treats. I will remember that.
I apologize. It's been a hectic day. I was hearing, had another bill hearing, so you're right. I owe you guys treats. I will.
But welcome. We're thrilled to have you.
No, thank you, Chair, and thank you, members. Obviously, with the testimony here today, I think this bill is of urgent matter. Having good, safe drinking water for our community should be a top priority for bonding investment, and so I urge your support. I urge you guys get this in the bonding bill, and I appreciate you guys hearing it and the work you guys do.
Thank you, and thank you for advocating for your city. We appreciate that. And thank you for making your way down to the Capitol, Mr. Flatten.
No, thank you.
Okay, next up, we are going to have Representative Myers, and then we're going to have Representative Skraba, followed by Representative Allen, followed by Representative Koznick. Koznick will be looking a little different today. You will see. And Representative Myers, you may state your name for the record and proceed.
Thank you, Chair Franzen, Chair Lee. State Representative Andrew Myers. I represent 11 cities in Hennepin County. Today, we're presenting House File 4489. This is in regards to improvements along Highway 7. So this is a road that I'm on every single day when I drive into the Capitol, when I drop my kids off in the morning, when I go to a grocery store, when I go to soccer practice. And it's got some significant challenges as being part of being on the Transportation Committee. We know some of the riskiest things we do is drive, and I think you'll hear from my testifier just how dangerous Highway 7 can be. This is a bill asking for $11 million to fill in a gap for a project that needs to be done that will have an impact on close to a dozen cities. So I'd let my testifier.
Welcome to the committee, and you may state your name for the record and proceed, Ms. Wallen.
Thank you. Well, good afternoon, or still morning, I guess. I'm Lisa Whalen, and I'm the mayor of Minnetrista. Thank you, Chair Fooley and Chair Franzen and committee members for giving us a few minutes here to state our case or to ask for money. We are one of 10 communities along the corridor that stretches from the western boundary of Hennepin County to the intersection of Highway 101 and 7. These 10 communities have formed a coalition and have been working with MnDOT to advocating for significant safety improvements along this stretch of highway. These improvements will cost an additional $11 million and that are being requested here today. The improvements that we're asking for are a result of the safety study that MnDOT performed. We are here today in full support of this request, and we stress the importance of these improvements, not just for my city, but for the members of our communities, the 10 along here, but also for all those traveling on and through this corridor. This stretch is only a 2-lane highway with nearly 50,000 vehicle trips per day. There are cars, buses, school buses, trucks, trailers, and semis that travel this 2-lane highway on a daily basis. These improvements are not just needed, but paramount to saving lives. What these safety enhancements will achieve are fewer or hopefully no fatal accidents. Most of the safety improvements consist of roundabouts at significant intersections. However, we would like to see roundabouts at all our intersections, both for safety as well as continued access to and from Highway 7. We understand that roundabouts are not cheap. However, statistics prove that they are far safer than traditional intersections with stop signs or lights. Because drivers must slow down to maneuver through these intersections, there may still be accidents, but they are far less severe. Fewer fatalities and fewer life-threatening injuries. Our communities take public safety very seriously and make it one of our top priorities, and that's why I'm here today. We trust you do as well, and it's hard to put a dollar number on a life, but even just one life saved is worth it. So I want to thank you for your time and consideration, and I can stand for any questions. Thank you.
All right. And would you like to add to the testimony? No? Okay. Members, do we have any questions? No. Wow. Okay. Nobody wants to put Representative Myers on the hot seat, huh?
Come on.
I know, it's kind of sad. All right. Well, I want to thank you for making your way to the committee. Representative Myers, do you have closing comments?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. You know, as reiterated here, you know, up to 50,000 cars a day, an average crash every 3 days. You know, there's a lot of stakeholders in this, you know, bipartisan support for this because it's impacting Carver, Hennepin, and, you know, we've got 5 school districts along this corridor, and I think this will be a really good investment because we're always trying to move towards a goal of 0 deaths on our highway, and you can see from some of these statistics, we need to do something along this corridor, and I hope to get your consideration and your support. Thank you.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much. All right, next up, Representative Skraba. You have 2 bills up. I feel like you just had some bills up. Was that last week? No.
We have quite a few questions.
We do? Okay, we will allot you some extra time for those questions. Thank you for the heads up.
Who else is coming? Liz or not? Just you?
I believe remote.
Oh, okay, yep.
Fantastic. All right. Well, Representative Skraba, you may state your name for the record, and I'm super happy that you brought my friend John Thorson to testify with you. Hi, John.
Thank you, Chair Franzen, Chair Lee, and everyone else, members. This is, again, one of those bills that isn't directly for me. It's for the state of Minnesota. It's a pretty big ask. It's a good ask. And I forgot my intro. Can I grab that? I really want to read it. I think
Sure. Run up there.
I think it's important.
And online, we have the mayor of Moorhead, so she will be testifying as well. Welcome, Mayor Carlson. Thank you. Okay, are you calm, cool, and collected now?
I am.
I couldn't believe you're at a loss for words and you need notes.
Well, I am actually, because I don't want to screw this one up.
Yeah, we don't
This
either.
one's kind of a big deal, and when I read the words, they helped me get where I'm at. I thought,
To
you know,
stay
I'm
on
going to read
task.
these. So, Chair Franzen, the bill seeks $225 million for several of the PFA grant and loan programs, including the matching funds, revolving loans, the Water Infrastructure Fund, Point Source Implementation Grants, PSIG, and Evolving Contaminants Grants. The amount is based on the initial request that the PFA made to the governor's office. The governor's bill includes $99 million, but this bill seeks to fully fund the PFA. There's a reason these committees sees and hears a lot of drinking water and wastewater related projects. Our local governments, large and small, all across the state, metro and rural and greater Minnesota, are responsible for ensuring that the Minnesota waters are clean, but it's expensive to do so. That is why it's so important that we fully fund the PFA, Public Facilities Authority, which plays an essential role in funding these projects. This bill asks for $225 million to fund several important grant and loan programs, including the Emergent Contaminant Fund, the Water Infrastructure Fund, the PSIG grant program, and matching funds for the loan programs that will help ensure Minnesota continues to enjoy clean drinking water. I have 2 testifiers that will help explain more where the funds are needed. Moorhead Mayor Shelley Carlson and John Thorson from Lyuna. Sure, yeah.
Okay.
The great Liuna. You know, again, you've heard me here before where I talk about where I think PFA should get funded every year. And a lot of the cases we heard today could be funded from that fund. So it's not like it's extra. We could fill in the gap where instead of having these folks come down every time, we have PFA fund this. So I'm going to let the testifiers go and have at it. So.
All right, shall we start with the mayor of Moorhead first? Mayor Carlson?
Hi, thank you. Thank you, Chair Franson and Chair Lee and members of the House Capital Investment Committee. I am Moorhead Mayor and immediate past president of the Coalition of Greater Minnesota Cities, Shelley Carlson. I'm testifying on behalf of the more than 100 members of the Coalition of Greater Minnesota Cities in support of House File 3891. Through their drinking water, wastewater, and stormwater facilities, our cities are stewards of Minnesota's water. But maintaining and upgrading the facilities that keep our water clean and help move water and wastewater where it needs to go is very, very expensive. Our cities would not be able to afford these projects without the assistance from the PFA grant and loan programs. For Moorhead, or in Moorhead, for example, both our drinking water and wastewater systems require significant upgrades. Our wastewater facility has been well maintained, but in order to upgrade this 40-year-old facility, Moorhead needs to spend $41 million to increase to meet increased phosphorus regulations, handle biosolids, and ensure it continues operating safely. Again, $41 million. Our facility is eligible for a clean water loan and a PSIG grant. We're located across the river from Fargo and already pay about 50% higher wastewater rates than they do. Right now, there's not enough money in the PSIG for all of the communities asking for it, as you've been hearing this morning. And if there's not enough money to fund our PSIG grant, we will have to undertake significant rate increases at about 9% per year. Our drinking water system is also facing more than $20 million in upgrades over the next several years to repair and preserve water mains, storage, and water transmission lines. Although we're probably not eligible for WIF grants, the PFA loans will allow us to borrow at a better interest rate, which lowers the project costs for our residents. Without PFA loans and grants, these projects would be unaffordable for our community, and that's true for cities all across Minnesota. The PFA grant and loan programs are essential so our citizens can drink clean water and our wastewater is processed. We thank this committee for your past support of the PFA, and we know this committee is receiving many requests for funds. I've been listening to them the last hour and a half, but it's absolutely essential that the PFA continue to be funded. So thank you for your support of these important programs, and I stand ready for any questions.
All right. Mr. Thorson, would you like to add to the testimony?
Yes, Madam Chair, Chair Lee, thank you. Good morning, chairs, members of the committee. My name is John Thorson. I'm Legislative Director for Liuna, Minnesota, North Dakota. We're Minnesota's infrastructure union, representing more than 14,000 skilled construction laborers who build and maintain roadways, bridges, and the basic utilities, including water infrastructure that communities count on. Here today to support House File 3891, which is a proposal to fix our state's aging municipal infrastructure that's threatening the vitality of communities all throughout the state, the safety of our drinking water, and the quality of lakes and rivers that we all treasure as Minnesotans. These investments allow communities across the state to repair wastewater treatment plants, stormwater facilities, and drinking water systems that are often either at or near capacity, or even can be at or near the end of their useful life. For so many communities in Minnesota, these systems were initially built between 50 and 70 years ago with a great deal of federal support. Often 90% of the cost of these facilities was covered by the federal government. And this critical infrastructure that it allows communities to prepare for severe weather events, clean up existing water contamination, and upgrade facilities to prevent pollution from happening in the first place. We also support this proposal because it launches and maintains thousands of high-quality, family-sustaining, prevailing wage jobs for tradesmen and women all throughout the state, for our union and others, and those not in unions. We're excited about the career opportunities, economic inclusion that this can bring to Minnesota's construction industry. And Madam Chair, Chair Lee, Chair Hansen, I appreciate your advocacy for water infrastructure in particular, as the need over the next 20 years is about $20 billion, estimated by the Department of Health and PCA. And we take cracks at this through the PFA and individual projects piecemeal, a bit at a time, and we just don't get ahead of the curve. So we appreciate your advocacy for finding dedicated revenue to further address water infrastructure needs throughout our state.
Thank you for that, Mr. Thorson, and thank you for the work that LIUNA does across our state as well. Your members are important. Representative Reimer.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and Representative Skraba, thank you for bringing this bill forward. I think it's a breath of fresh air. As I've sat on this committee for the last year and a half, it seems like we're, piecemealing water infrastructure across our state. And when I get asked in my district and, wherever I am in the state, it's like I think we know the headline problems, right? We know the frontal things that our state is facing, whether it's fraud or budget deficits and the tails or what have you. But when I get asked, it's like, what's bubbling under the surface? And when 60, 70% of our projects are wastewater treatment and water infrastructure projects, I think personally, and this might be something beyond this committee, but it's like we need kind of a new promise to Minnesota for clean and safe water. And a project like this, if we can have a larger chunk of money that is devoted to instead of having people from local communities come down and we piecemeal these projects together, I just want to let you know, Representative Skraba, that I appreciate an effort like this where, it's a bigger amount of money, but it's a bigger vision for the state of our water quality in Minnesota. So I just wanted to thank you for bringing this forward.
All right, Chair Hansen.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and Representative Skraba. You've traveled around and you've seen that, for those of us with poor communities in the inner ring suburbs, we're told, tough luck, you got to get a loan, because our affordability doesn't matter. Or if they're poor communities in Minneapolis and St. Paul, more poor neighborhoods.
Right.
Tough luck, you got to get a loan where other people get grants. So, to split the PFA dollars, so at least 50% goes into urban areas, wherever they are, whether it's Rochester, Duluth, St. Cloud, Minneapolis, St. Paul, first-tier suburbs. Are you open to that?
I am.
Representative Skraba.
Chair and Representative Hansen, yeah, I think the PFA and we could all sit down and work this out, because I do believe after touring some of like your community and looking at, it is not a wealthy, by any means is it wealthy. As a whole, it's wealthy, but as individuals, they're all struggling to get by, like we are in greater Minnesota, and I think we need to look at how we're doing this, the infrastructure corrections, fixing. When I hear radium or radon in water, I'm like, what? That needs to be fixed today, not yesterday. And how do we rate that? But I think and I do believe this is a bipartisan, we have to solve this together. And instead of saying, well, I want this and I need that 50-50, whatever the dollar amount comes out, however it's 50-50, that's okay. Or if it's 60-40, the point is it has to be consistent year after year after year, not a one-time shot. If we can get on a track where we can all agree that we're going to put this amount of dollars aside for these kinds of projects, I think everyone breathes a little easier. I know the workers that come up, and the trades people, they know that they're going to be in an area that's going to be getting funding, and they'll know that in years, and they can plan their livelihoods and everything around that. So yes, I'd be more than willing to sit down and try to work out where we are. I mean, right now, everyone is available. I don't know why you're not getting grant dollars, but because everyone is supposed to be treated the same. But that's something we can, again, if it takes negotiations, that's what it does. I'm up for it.
Chair Hansen.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Well, my city did have to get a loan for radium, because we're in the metro area. And so, good intentions are there, but unless we write it into the law, it won't happen.
This is an opportunity to start that discussion. Sorry, Madam Chair.
All right. Well, thank you. And if we could get some quick responses from the PFA to know where things are and what the list is and all that good stuff. But the shakeup at the PFA has been a little sketchy for information. Any other questions? All right, seeing none. Representative Skraba?
I just want to reiterate that PFA programs are open to local governments throughout the state. Whether in the metro or greater Minnesota, communities everywhere benefit from the programs. Revolving loan funds save the loan, saves a lot of dollars in greater Minnesota and the metro. But I think all in all, Minnesota does a good job of funding this, but I think we can do a better job. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Representative Skraba. Next up, Representative Skraba, and thank you, Mr. Thorson, for testifying. Representative Skraba, we have House File 3811 for Cook County Gunflint Trail. And then we still have 2 more bills to do, so we got to make it quick.
I'll go. Yeah, good.
You may state your name for the record and proceed. Welcome to the committee.
Chair Franson, Representative Skraba, District 3A. This is the last 10 miles of the Gunflint Trail. If you've ever been up in northern Minnesota, out of Grand Marais, it's a ribbon of road that goes literally through the woods. And it's right now the snowbanks are about 3 feet high alongside the road, and they're getting snow yesterday and today, I believe. So, but I'm going to have my 2 witnesses make some presentation, and I don't know which one wants to go first, the commissioner, or go ahead.
All right, you may state your name for the record, Commissioner, and proceed.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair, Co-Chair Lee, and members of the committee. My name's Ann Sullivan. I'm a Cook County Commissioner for District 4, and the Gunflint Trail is right through the heart of my district. But I'm here on behalf of the entire county to respectfully request $10 million in state bonding to complete improvements to the final 10 miles of the Gunflint Trail. And as Representative Skraba mentioned, that is a ribbon of road, and Cook County has already repaired and replaced 47 miles of that trail. So this is for the last 10 miles. The Gunflint Trail is a designated historic scenic byway and the primary access corridor to more than 208,000 acres of wilderness in the Boundary Waters. It's critical infrastructure that supports public safety, tourism, and access to federal lands. Cook County is one of Minnesota's largest counties geographically, as you know, but it is one of the smallest in terms of population, with only 5,700 residents. Nearly 90% of our economy is tourism-based, and we welcome more than 1.2 million visitors each year, many of them from throughout Minnesota, here in southern Minnesota, traveling north to experience the Boundary Waters and Superior National Forest. The Gunflint Trail is the road that brings them there. It is the only road in and out of northern Cook County. The final 10 miles of the Gunflint Trail are failing, and the project will resurface those miles of roadway, replace 16 deteriorating culverts, and also construct 4 bridges. These improvements are essential to maintain emergency access to the wilderness, strengthen our wildfire evacuation routes for visitors and for our residents, and increase resilience to extreme weather. Engineering is already underway, and the project will be shovel-ready in 2028. We have already secured $4.5 million in funding, and your state bonding is the key piece needed to move this project forward. This investment will support public safety, protect access to the boundary waters and Superior National Forest for canoeing, hiking, fishing, snowmobiling, and cross-country skiing, and it will sustain our tourism economy that supports all of northeastern Minnesota. I thank you for your time, and I would make sure that you have an opportunity to hear from our highway engineer, Robbie Kimmel-Hass.
All right, Mr. Kimmel-Hass, you may state your name for the record and proceed.
Good morning, chairs and committee members. My name is Robert Kimmel-Hass. I am the county engineer up in Cook County, Minnesota. If you have it in front of you, I'd like you to take a look at the back of the handout that was provided. What you'll see back there is a detailed breakdown of the project's funding. As Commissioner Sullivan mentioned, we're excited to share that we've already secured $4.5 million for this project, and that's through a really strong partnership of federal and state dollars. These funds are only available through 2028, and so this gives us a very clear window to move this project forward together. And that's why we're here today, to build on that momentum. By continuing to align state and federal resources, we can ensure this project reaches completion and delivers lasting benefits for our community. To reiterate, engineering is already underway, and we're on track for the project to be shovel-ready in 2028. I thank you for your time, your partnership, and your commitment to improving the Gunflint Trail.
Fantastic. Thank you for presenting. Members, questions? Comments? Representative Skraba.
Thank you, Chair Franzen. There's roughly 100 parcels in this last 10 miles, both commercial and public. So it does serve its purpose. I do not know the visitor count that goes up on that far. We know that Grand Marais serves over 1 million people, so a whole lot of people go up that road and use it. So it's a pretty important piece of infrastructure for their communities.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
Thank
you.
Thanks for making your way down here. Safe travels back. All right, Representative Allen, you are presenting House File 3438 for the University of Minnesota. Lucky you.
That is correct, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, Chair Fooley, and distinguished members of the Bonding and Infrastructure Committee, I'd like to thank you for taking the time to listen to our proposal for House File 3438, which provides a strategic investment in the future of Minnesota's agriculture economy through the construction of the new Student Center at the University of Minnesota St. Paul campus. The campus serves as the heart of the state's agriculture, food, and natural resources program, educating the next generation of farmers, researchers, and industry leaders. The proposed facility will create a modern, centralized space for students to collaborate, access resources, and build relationships that are critical to the success of agriculture and related industries in our state. As agriculture continues to evolve, the new technologies and market demands also evolve as well. This investment ensures that Minnesota remains competitive by supporting the talent pipeline that drives our state's most important economic sectors. At this point in time, I'd like to turn it over to my two bill testifiers, Dean Sarah DeWitt from the college on my right here with the College of Biological Sciences, and Lauren Cogley, I was almost there, a current student at CFANS at St. Paul.
All right, and who would like to go first?
I'll go.
Wonderful. Ms. DeWalt, you may state your name for the record and proceed.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair Franzen, Co-Chair Lee, and members of the committee. My name is Sarah DeWalt. I'm Dean of the College of Biological Sciences, or CBS as it is known, and I am based on the St. Paul campus. But before we look forward, I wanted to say thank you. Your 2017 investment in the St. Paul Plant Growth Research Facility was a definitive success, completed on time and on budget. And the Plant Conservatory now protects one of the region's most diverse botanical collections and supports research as well as teaching of over 30 courses from across the Twin Cities campus. So we are here today to ask for your partnership on another transformative project, the St. Paul Campus Center. In CBS, half of our faculty and graduate students are based on the St. Paul campus, and every single one of our undergraduate biology majors, who are the future doctors, dentists, biotech leaders in Minnesota, come here for our active learning labs and our hands-on learning. And they enjoy the small campus feel at our big university, but currently they can't stay. Faculty and staff and students love the beauty of the St. Paul campus, but there's a limit to how long they can remain when there is currently not a place to eat, collaborate on research projects, and for students to grab coffee with one of our world-class professors between classes. So the new St. Paul Campus Center will be a vibrant hub needed to continue attracting and keeping our top researchers and our bright students together in one space to solve the state's agricultural, biological, and environmental challenges. And to tell you more about what this means for the student experience, I'll turn it over to Lauren Cogley, a student from our sibling college of CFANS.
All right, you may state your name for the record and proceed, Ms. Cogley.
Chair Franson, Co-Chair Lee, and members of the committee, my name is Lauren Cogley. I'm a senior at the University of Minnesota studying plant science and the former president of Lambda Delta Phi sorority located on the St. Paul campus. As an out-of-state student, St. Paul has been vital to my feeling at home here. My college career has been enriched by my community and the unique opportunities to apply my learning in plant health, production, and sustainability. However, it's clear to not only myself and my peers, but also to prospective students that the St. Paul campus has been forgotten for a long time. We currently lack a focal point of student life that provides relevant and safe applied learning facilities, healthcare, dining, and community centers. I believe that the new St. Paul Campus Center will fill that gap and draw both current and future students to the St. Paul campus. As I continue my education at the U and the graduate school, I look forward to seeing how the Campus Center will be a catalyst for revitalizing St. Paul so that it can support our high degree of agricultural and environmental innovation. Investing in the vitality of Minnesota's academic institutions promotes the success of future professionals and encourages them to offer support beyond college days. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that. And Representative Carroll.
Thank you, Chair. My question is for any of you. How many students are on the St. Paul campus?
And who would like to take that? Mr. Walt?
I can take that and say I'm not sure of the exact number, but we, students on the Twin Cities campus, most of them, many of them take classes or labs on the St. Paul campus. So there are some who reside in the residence hall, and then many others who take classes on the campus.
Could I follow up?
All right, Representative Carroll.
Thank you. You don't have any idea at all? How many, let's just look at it this way. How many total with the Twin Cities campus?
Ms. DeWalt.
Chair Franson, thank you, and Representative Carroll, thank you. We have over 33,000 undergraduate students and an additional 20,000 or so graduate students who are on the Twin Cities campus. Many of them, all of the students in CFANS are based on the St. Paul campus. Our 2,400, 2,500 CBS majors are based or take classes on the St. Paul campus. We also have design students, education and human development students, and all of our veterinary medicine students are based on the St. Paul campus, and then may take classes also on East Bank and West Bank of Minneapolis.
Representative Carroll.
So do you have any sense at all how many students come to St. Paul? I mean, study on the St. Paul campus?
Ms. DeWalt.
Chair Franson, Representative Carroll, thank you. I am not sure of the actual number, but may I, probably 50%, 40% of students?
Can we actually take this off? We got like 2 minutes and we still have one more bill up.
Okay, all right. I'll follow up later. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions? No? All right. Closing comments.
Again, members, thank you for taking the time to be able to include this on the bonding tour. You saw the facilities yourself firsthand, understood kind of the situation they're currently in. And if you have any more questions offline, please reach out. Thank you.
Okay, next up, we have Representative Koznick. Today, I am Representative Koznick. All right, thank you. And thank you for testifying here today. And your state representative, John Koznick, who's my favorite. Today also is his anniversary of becoming a U.S. citizen, so cheers to that.
Cheers to John.
We celebrate him every year. But you may state your name for the records and proceed for the City of Credit River.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Co-Chair, and members of the committee. My name is Chris Kostick. I am the mayor of the City of Credit River. With me today is our city administrator, Steve Zeleznikar. And thank you for the opportunity to testify in support of our request for $12.8 million to extend municipal sewer and water to the Country Court neighborhood. So let me start with the problem. Country Court neighborhood is a neighborhood of 99 homes built in the 60s and 70s on small lots, each served yet today on private wells and septic systems. Today, most of these septic systems are 30 years old, many are already failing, and many more are nearing failing. Because of the lot sizes, there is often no room to replace them. This puts homeowners at risk of losing habitability, and it creates a barrier for buyers because the homes with failing septics may not qualify for traditional mortgage financing. I want to refer to the map in the upper right of the handout that we provided everybody today and explain what we're looking at. When you look at that map and all the red and yellow dots, the red dots are systems that are already failing those homeowners. The yellow dots represent systems that are aging and near end of life. This creates a real risk to groundwater, drinking water, and the surrounding environment. I'll add an additional note that this area is in a wellhead protection area from a neighboring city as well. These 99 homes in this neighborhood are naturally occurring workforce housing. Without this project, we risk losing those homes, not because of demand, but because of failing infrastructure. This is also a keystone investment in Credit River. It unlocks service to 400 additional homes in Credit River that are under similar circumstances with small lots and septics, and it also opens land for 400 and more future workforce housing units. This area is already in the Met Council's urban services area and identified in our comprehensive plan. We're not asking for speculative expansion. We're asking for a fix for a known problem. With that, I'll turn it over to our city administrator.
All right, you may state your name for the record and proceed.
Thank you, Madam Chair and committee members. Steve Zeleznikar, City Administrator, Credit River. Again, this is a $13 million project. Credit River will specially assess the 99 benefiting properties. We will also contribute locally. However, due to the modest home values, those assessments cannot fully support this project. State bonding support is essential to close that gap. This project is ready to go. It's been planned for decades. Again, it's included in our comprehensive plan. The infrastructure is already within reach. We are ready to move forward. Again, without state participation, the alternatives are not viable. The assessments will become unaffordable and the project will become delayed. And delay means more failures, higher costs, and greater risks. So in closing, this project protects public health, it preserves the workforce housing, and enables future housing in planned growth areas. We respectfully ask for your support, and we thank you very much for your time and consideration.
Thank you so much for testifying. Members, any questions? No? Okay, do you have any closing thoughts? No?
No.
All right, well, thank you for coming, and I appreciate you getting to know the newer, improved John Koznick. Much better looking, too.
Thank you.
All right, have a great day, safe travels. Members, our next meeting is Tuesday, April 14th, and Chair Lee will hold the gavel. Oh, and we are adjourned.